It's more than a car to me. It takes me places not everyone else can go, and the memories and people I've met through having that car wouldn't change it for the world. I just have a crazy passion and an idea, and when my pen hits the paper, I can't stop. They're not going to go and sit in a room with 4 walls and a roof around them and pay someone to tell them that I understand it's okay. And for her to sort of see that there's good in amongst all the bad, hopefully has made all the difference. We do keep in contact with her.
The Outer Side is proudly supported by Tie Gear. Head to www.tiegear.com to explore the wide range of high-quality camping essentials, including guy ropes, screw-in tent pegs, tie-downs, and heaps more. Tie Gear. Adventure secured. Dog and Gun Coffee. Check out www.dogandguncoffee.com to grab yourself some bloody good coffee ready for adventure. G'day and welcome to The Outer Side. I'm Tony, and in this episode, I'm joined by Lucinda Harvey from Saving True Blues. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you so much for having me, Tony. What an honour.
Nah, don't be silly. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you, and thank you for providing what is a very nice little location for this one.
Absolutely, I love this spot. A little local of ours.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Very good. We're going to start with the Fast Five. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You answer with the first thing that comes to mind.
God.
What is your dream car?
What I have now, 79.
Yeah. Sick. I'll throw a photo up for anyone watching, but just talk us through it. What is it?
It is a 2016 dual cab graphite 79 series. I got it when I was 20. It's absolutely every cent that I've earned since leaving school in year 10 till now. But I love it. It's more than a car to me. It takes me places not everyone else can go, and the memories and people I've met through having that car wouldn't change it for the world. So I love it.
That is the best, and you just summed up like what is amazing about four-wheel drives for so many of us,
exactly right?
So good. Favorite band or music artist?
Jimmy Barnes. I love Jimmy Barnes.
Like Jimmy Barnes or Chisel Jimmy
Barnes?
Barnes?
I was going to say, I should have said John Williamson. It's very fitting, True Blue. That is why I started it, but we'll get into that later. But down the line, Jimmy Barnes. Yeah.
Sick.
Can't go wrong.
Good answer. And anyone that answers with anything other than country is okay by me.
Done.
If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what would it be?
Milo.
Milo?
I love my Milo. I'm a glass cup with half Milo, if not more, and then milk.
Nice.
Done.
What is your least favourite food?
Anything green. I hate veggies. I'm such a child still. I hate veggies. I can't do it.
Following on from that, what would you eat for your last meal?
Probably a massive cup of Milo. I know it's a drink, but how I drink it, I eat it. Like it's literally 50-50.
It needs a spoon, so
exactly
you're
right.
eating it even though it is technically a beverage.
Yeah, that'd be my death row or last meal.
All
absolutely.
Right. I rate all of those answers. So let's talk a little bit about you. So we'll talk about Saving True Blues, but before we get to that, like you said, you left school in year 10 and you've then dumped every cent you have into a 79. So what made you want to do that? Did you grow up in like the outdoors or full driving? Is that something that was always there?
So very lucky enough, we live in the mountains. But every school holidays, birthday, weekend, whenever we had more than a few hours free, we'd go up to our property in Oberon.
Oh, yeah.
So about 2 hours over the mountain. That's where my old man taught us how to forward drive, how to camp, fish, how to hunt. My love from it started there. Dad and I are like this. Everything I've learned and everything I have now has definitely been from him. So it's all started there. I left school in year 10 and I got a hairdressing apprenticeship. I wanted to be a chippy, but hairdressing sort of fell into place a bit easier.
I'm slightly confused about that sentence.
Very different, very different. I was finished, I was qualified, and I did my reds in an auto, so I had to get an auto. As soon as I got my greens, I could then buy a manual. And you've got great taste because we both had D22s.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
Mine was a 2006. An old silver dual cab nav. I loved that, and that was like gold to me. I learnt so much in that. We had an old Daihatsu Rocky that we would paddock bash up at the farm. That's where I learnt. That's the car I learned in. But having my own forward drive, something that I could pour my own money into, and I feel like I appreciate it a lot more, as bad as that sounds. When you buy it yourself and it's not sort of handed out to you, you appreciate it so much more. So I learned a lot of what I know now that Dad didn't get to teach me from that car. I then worked on a horse stud for a year and a half, and I loved that. That was awesome. And then I wanted to make a bit of money, so I got into earthworks and mining, and I loved that. And that's pretty much how and why I bought that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like I said, I made a bit of money, and it was a bit of a wank thing and whatever, but being able to say I had my dream car at 20 was awesome to me. It felt like leaving in year 10 made it all worth it. It was very unheard of. I went to a private school, so it was very sort of almost shunned upon to leave in year 10 where I went to, but it made it all worth it. So I get to park it up at the grocery store and look back at it, and it's looking at me. So it's all worked out for me.
And you earned it. You weren't handed it, which I think is really important. And from like a self-satisfaction point of view, you know, knowing that you've earned it and you've paid for it, makes it all worth it, right?
Yeah, and it's something that Dad and I definitely bond over, is absolutely our cars and our love for motorbike riding and hunting and, you know, fishing and all of that. Seeing Dad's Ranger and my car in the drive every day, it's like a father and son moment, I suppose. But it makes it all worth it, definitely. And like you said, it's something that I earned, and Dad and I just bond over every other day about it. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
So what happened to being a chippy?
Yeah, I really wanted to, but hairdressing honestly just fell into place a lot easier. And I think I had a bit of PTSD from passing Dad the wrong tools at a young age and screamed it. So I didn't want to have that leading into my career. But the salon was awesome. It was only a 3-year apprenticeship, not a 4-year. When I left in year 10, you know, you're 16, no one really knows what you want to do. So I pretty much chose something that I had an interest in that wasn't a big year, like 4-year commitment. I got a trade behind me, and then I could sort of, at 19, 20, figure out where I wanted to go from there. And like I said, I went from horses to playing and moving dirt around all day. So yeah.
So you're still doing the hairdressing thing?
I do it from home every now and then. I'm not in the salon. I love the trade. I just couldn't work in a salon anymore. Just wasn't my cup of tea anymore. I learned a lot from that, and definitely made me mature very quick as a 16-year-old, being put into a professional work environment, which I'm grateful for. It's taught me so much, and I can talk to a brick wall if I need to, being in the salon, so it's great. Yeah,
well, and I think there's a lot to be said for that, like throwing a teenager, and you know, you're still a kid, into like an adult work environment through a trade, I think is really powerful. Like, daunting, no doubt, but like I think for your long-term development and like setting you up as a person and how to deal with situations, I think it's a good idea. Definitely.
Like I said, some days you literally talk to brick walls and try and make a conversation out of someone, but it's taught me so much. And you know, dabbling a bit into Saving True Blues, the people that you would meet in the salon, no two people are the same. People would come in, it really is a female's cheap version of therapy, you could say, because as soon as you sit in the chair and you know, do someone's hair and you just chat to them for a couple hours, you get to know them on more of a personal level than professional. And it's helped me a lot with my own gig now, and very, very grateful. At the time I was like, oh, my jaw hurts from speaking so much to people, and I just wanted to go home and rip my hair out. But it's all definitely paid off.
It's funny you say that, because like I've become really good mates with heaps of barbers over the years. Like as I've moved around, I find a barber that I like, and generally it's like, can they cut hair? Yeah, sure. But like, can I sit there for an hour every couple of weeks and talk to them?
So true.
And it's really important, because like you're spending ages there, and you don't want to just be like awkwardly sitting there.
So true.
So
definitely.
It's funny you said that about like therapy. I'm sure many barbers and hairdressers could relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's actually, we learned in TAFE, and I remembered it stuck with me. It's somewhat scientifically proven. I don't know the whole reason behind it, but when someone's sitting in your chair in front of you and you touch them and you play with their hair, they feel almost bonded to you. So it's a lot more than just a salon appointment for some people.
Yeah, right.
We'd get bombshells dropped on us, divorces, marriages, all the above, weddings, and it was nuts. So
that's so funny. Sorry, I just need to put those on. I'm like really struggling with the sun here. So talk to me about Saving True Blues. So do you want to explain maybe first what Saving True Blues is, and then we can talk about how that came about?
Yeah, definitely. So long story short, Saving True Blues is a mental health organisation I started in 2022 off the base of a really unfortunate event that happens to too many of us in Australia. Long story short, that's what it is. I do camping events, I do workshops for women, I go out to rural and regional communities, and I just check in with anyone that may need it. So in a nutshell, that's what it is, but it's so much deeper than that. So in 2021, peak COVID, mind you, in June, I got a phone call from my best friend in high school. Now, I had been out of school for quite a few years because I left in year 10. Anyway, she was Greek, she was very loud, and anyway, she calls me and she goes, where are you, what are you up to? I said, I'm in my car, I was up front of my partner's house, about to drive home. We live 5 minutes from each other, and I was about to click my car over. She said, turn your car off, don't move. I thought she was going to tell me she was pregnant or something, because she was Greek, she was loud, and she's just straight 180 for this phone call. And she just said, do you remember Isaac from high school? I said, yeah, of course I do. She goes, I'm really sorry, but I want to tell you this before you hear on social media or from anyone else. He passed away last night, he took his life. And I was like, what do you mean? What is going on? He was the first person, butterfly just flew past that. I have a thing with Isaac. But that's butterflies.
Really?
How was that?
That was, I can confirm that just happened.
It's a thing.
Yeah. That was a little monarch,
that's
I think,
crazy.
Wasn't it?
He was the first person in my life that I'd lost to suicide. What I mean, I've lost people before, grandparents who were old. You sort of expect it, right?
It's different, yeah.
Exactly right. He was so young. I was bullied really bad in high school, which was 90% of the reason why I left. 10% was because school just wasn't for me, but 90% because I was bullied and I just wanted to get away from those girls. And when I thought about it and reflected, he was 19, you leave school when you're 17, 18. School was his whole life, and I hated school. That made me really sad when I thought about it like that. Fast forward, a couple weeks, like I said, it was COVID. The last time I saw Isaac, you could say, was on a Zoom call. And my girlfriend and I, we had FaceTimed, which I'm really grateful for, that even though we couldn't be in the same house and room together or funeral home, we could still be there for each other in a way over social media. Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Last time I saw him was, at that funeral, the baby photos, and being carried away by, only a handful of people. Like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be a whole room of people that support you. On the Zoom call, there were 250 people there. It's crazy. It's sort of like if you only knew, you know what I mean? But you can't really think like that. Fast forward 6 months, I was distraught, to say the least. I was like, he was the happiest man in the room. It didn't make sense to me. I was upset, I was angry, I was confused. I'd never had someone pass like this, and it felt, and it still does, feels weird growing older without that person. Like, they stay the same age forever as you know them. They don't age, and you don't see any more posts and things like that of what they're getting up to, but you do that. Anyway, fast forward, these 6 months go by. I'm sitting under my bed and I'm having a meltdown, just sort of thinking about what his life was, and we were sort of out of COVID. Life was getting back to normal, but it didn't feel normal at all. And I had this crazy love of forward driving and camping and fishing. I didn't have a lot of friends because I was bullied, and I wanted to make something to remember Isaac, so that his last memory for me personally wasn't that Zoom call. Rather, let's go camping with whoever wants to come, and let me share that story to whoever wants to listen, in hopes that it will inspire and break down this stigma that is so horribly known in Australia for mental health. If I can help one person, then God, it's worth it. I'll say it, every day of my life. And I'm really, really glad and really happy and proud to say it definitely has helped a handful. But that's what it is. It was all started for Isaac so that his memory could live on, and I could keep sharing his story in hopes that it would help someone, that they can then speak up. And it's just gone, really far and wide, which I'm very grateful for. like I said, with the camping events, I pick somewhere based in New South Wales, so in New South Wales. And we literally just go, we go Friday, Saturday night, or Saturday we go forward driving. It used to be around national parks, but that's a bit of a touchy subject now. So anyway.
Let's not get into
conversation for another day.
Not today.
No. But I use this for example, a forward drive park. So we set out a whole day on Saturday, we'll do this track, we'll do a flex ramp here, and then Saturday night we get everyone together around a big bonfire, because there's nothing like watching a bit of bush telly that really gets people going, if you know what I mean. And I get up and I pretty much just share what I have then, and I stop and I say, does anyone want to speak up and sort of share their story? If you know of someone, we can remember them together. If you're going through something, it's definitely a safe space. It's easier for me to say that, but it's very easy for me to say that. But it absolutely is. It's no judgment at all. And it's a space where you can get up and share your best and worst memories, and everyone's like, good on you, mate, like, happy you're here. And it's truly something you have to be there and attend to fully understand it. It's not a mental health camp where you go away and you scream at something and you're healed. It's nothing like that. It's just getting the awareness out there that there's people from everywhere in Australia that you may not even know exist who want to hear you and will give you the time and day to hear your story. And it's just absolutely taken off. I'm doing the 15th one this weekend, and then the guys trip, which will be the 16th. The first camp I held at was at Lake Lyell.
Oh yeah.
And that was about 14 people, 4 were family, if that even counts. I think the biggest the biggest one I held was about 230. So it's it's going.
You had 230 people.
It was nuts. It was crazy.
So do you have any? Oh, I've got so many questions, but before I get into that, I just want to say thank you for being so brave to be able to talk about this on camera. I know it's like it must be really hard for you. So I've got a lot of respect for you being able to speak so well about it and being able to share that story with people, because I understand it must be quite hard for you. Do you have any event management experience or any experience in coordinating 230 humans in one place?
None at all. I am not qualified in anything like that. I just have a crazy passion and an idea, and when my pen hits the paper, I can't stop. And I've learnt so much over the 3 years of doing these. Everyone gets better. I have a great family behind me as well. I have an amazing partner who always listens to my crazy ideas at 2 a.m. when I wake up with one. But yeah, nothing at all. I just wanted to do something so bad and help. And I think when it comes from the heart, it works itself out. So yeah.
Well, it's so impressive for a woman of your age to just figure it out as you go. Super impressive, because I've done a lot of event stuff over the years and it's pretty hard. So the fact that you're just doing it off your own bat and doing it for such a great reason, I think is you should be really proud of that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So aside from your background in therapy through hairdressing, have you had any experience in terms of mental health training or anything like that, or you just thought that this was the right way to approach it?
Yeah, so I am not qualified in any psychological element at all. But if I can be a bit selfish and say, I think sometimes that's better. Because people that I've spoke to out at rural communities, they're not going to go and sit in a room with 4 walls and a roof around them and pay someone to tell them that I understand it's okay and whatever else is said in that room. But when it's just coming from a mate or, an everyday true blue Aussie who just wants to go and, have a yarn with you, I think it means a bit more to me anyway. I haven't had the best year and a half of my life, and I went and saw help at Headspace. I'm very grateful that I'm at the age where I can go to Headspace 10 times in a year and it's free. I believe it's 16 to 25, it's free. And I went in not good, and I come out the other side amazing. And getting a relationship with Headspace has been so great for me personally, not only for Saving True Blues, but for me as Lucinda Harvey, because I'm now a part of Uniting, and it's basically a youth Headspace committee where a bunch of, people from that 16, 18 to 25 in Penrith. We get together twice a month and we sort of go, look, this is the challenges that I've seen. And being sort of the head of Saving True Blues, I see and I deal with a lot of people from all ages. So it's very beneficial for headspace to me because I'm in the thick of it and I see it and I can then go back to them and go, hey, this is sort of what we're dealing with now, and it's a great research purpose, if you know what I mean. But to answer your question, I'm not trained.
No, that's
I'm just a friend.
And I think what you were just describing is so powerful in terms of being able to bounce ideas off and shared experience, and like you don't need to apologise to me about not being, formally trained in anything, because I'm formally trained in almost nothing, but I've managed to,
done pretty well.
Yeah, I've managed to just kind of navigate my way through life and learn from experience. And I had a conversation with someone recently, with Tim Lightfoot, the guy behind Mitts Alloy, and he was saying the same thing. Like school wasn't for him. Like he's not formally trained in anything. He's built numerous highly successful businesses. So I think there's some people work well in a structured learning environment, and others learn from experience and by doing it. And so
true.
The fact that you're doing that, I think, is great.
Thank you.
I think you mentioned something there which really sort of stuck with me, and that is particularly in the rural and regional communities. And I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say, particularly for men, they, I guess a traditional therapy environment, be it a psychologist or a psychiatrist in a very clinical setting, can be quite intimidating. And I've been there. So, and it's also hard to build rapport with someone that's been to university and studied mental health, and you might be so far from that and in a bad space. So I think,
definitely.
What you've created is a really interesting concept, because it's, I can see without having been to one of your camps that it's immediately a less threatening environment, because you're putting people in an environment that they want to be in to begin with, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I did an event a few months ago out at Woodstock. It's near Cowra, about 3.5 hours from Sydney.
Yeah.
And we did a camp oven cook-off for the pub. Now, this was started a few years ago to get the community out after COVID.
Yeah.
It's a very older, traditional country town. So when COVID was happening, a lot of the older people there, they didn't want to leave their house.
They were freaked right
Yeah, they were
out,
scared.
yeah.
So they started as a way to get people out of their house and, just eat food and catch up with everyone. And having a chat to their community was amazing. I go out to there every other week. It's sort of our little local away from Oberon, that we've got a property out there too. And it's 9 Australians every day we lose, 7 are men, and 94% of that are farmers, which is crazy to think about.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So speaking to the men there, they said what I said earlier, they don't want to go and sit in what feels like a box to them, where they're paying someone who's gone to uni for over 5 years to tell them, I get it, it's okay, which works for some people.
But not everybody.
Not for them.
Yeah.
As well as small town judgment.
Yeah, because everybody talks, right?
Everyone knows everyone, and if it's horrible that it's even like this, but if you recognise a ute, for example, out the front of a clinic that treats mental health, whatever that may be, then it takes, it's Chinese whispers through a small country town.
And the stigma around mental health is
Crazy
so bad, right?
Yeah.
And like, if you're in that situation where you're already, feeling down, or you've got pressures and trauma that you're dealing with, and then add that on top, it's the adult form of bullying, right?
100%.
Gossiping about people.
I spoke to one old bloke, and I'll never forget it. He said, I'd rather talk about the weather than my feelings. So he'd rather talk about his dry grass than he had a bad day the other day, which was crazy.
I think a lot of men could probably agree or relate to that.
Yeah.
And it's, it's something that, I mean, obviously I am a guy, and I can count on one hand the number of times my mates have told me how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, our conversations are very, not surface level in terms of, like, we might talk about an issue at a deep level, but not about how we're feeling. It's just not something that's done in this country. No,
definitely not. The again, I'm biased, but the guys' camps that we hold are just amazing.
Yeah.
Having that fire and just the non-judgment, open space, the things that these men of all ages have been coming out with. It's been very, very successful, and it's definitely something to look forward to when another camp is coming up, because you hear someone's story, and then you get to catch up with them 6 or 8 weeks later. But you're absolutely not wrong. It's men just don't talk. And to be honest, I started it for Isaac, who was a man. So it's going out to that Woodstock event was life-changing. Like I said, I'll never forget him saying he'd rather talk about grass than...
Can I just say, you're really brave for holding an event at a place called Woodstock, because I'm not sure if you saw what happened when they tried to do the Woodstock revival thing in America, but it was like an absolute disaster. So you're very brave doing that, and I'm glad it didn't go the same way for you. I think there's a documentary about it. It's quite rogue. They ended up somehow something went wrong, and they ended up pumping raw sewage into the drinking water supply, and there was a lot going on. So
is that the event where they were spraying everyone with?
Yeah, I think so. Because Woodstock happened in the 70s, right? And then they tried to do a modern day one, and it just turned into a full disaster.
Lovely. Well, ours was not like that.
Yeah, well that is good, because you probably would have got sued. So what do you think it is about farmers and people in regional areas that the reason that they over-index so highly in mental health issues? Do you know what the reason is, or do you think there's anything that you've learnt from what you've done?
I think it's culture. Definitely that having a bad day, have a bag of concrete type thing. Definitely a traditional thing, and I know it personally. So my family are from out at Oberon. My grandfather, he was a tough man. Beautiful man, but he was very, very tough. He had guns on him like this and legs like this, played for Panthers in his later days. But he was like the definition of a tough Aussie farmer, and his dad was even more so hard. And then my old man, when he was of age, he started helping around the farm, and Dad, when he had us girls, I've got an older sister, so just us 2 girls, sort of caught himself a couple times being a little bit of a old school farmer on us. And yeah, that's always sort of stuck with me. I think it's definitely a traditional thing. And when you can break that like my dad did, it does wonders. Like I said, I think it's a judgment, and just the stress is crazy for farmers. They've got one of the most, amazing but hard jobs ever. It changes every day. Seasons are crazy, and I just think that the stress and pressure and the need to provide for their families, but as well as Australia-wide, is amazing. We get crazy weather here. That's another factor into it. Flash flooding, fires. It's unpredictable. Life is, but I very much feel for all those farmers. And like I said, just small town judgment. It can go. Crazy, so.
Yeah, and I think what you just said then is so true, right? Like farming, it can be so amazing.
Oh yeah.
And when everything lines up, it can be very lucrative, but the hard times far outweigh the good, right? I've got a few mates who are, work in agriculture. Birds are having a party behind us. But, I've got mates that run cattle farms and sheep farms and various things, and just being at the mercy of the weather must have an effect on people, right? Like you can be doing everything right. You can know your craft intimately and be so good at what you're doing, and then the weather just comes and just destroys everything, right? I
think as well, something I didn't mention is the cost of everything. And I can speak for 1% of this for a personal level. When I was working on that horse stud a few years ago, I bought my first Highland cattle. I then sold him a year later, and I bought that canopy. But anyway.
So a Highland cow is in one of those brown shaggy things with the big horns.
The big long horns.
So you traded...
Yes, sorry buddy.
You traded a steer for a canopy.
Yeah, but I look at it every day. I'm like, it's so convenient. And I couldn't breed him.
Did you sell him to someone as a pet, or did you...
Yeah, he was a pet.
Oh, okay, good. He wasn't
definitely a pet.
turning into sausages.
No. Not that I know of anyway. But
who? Wow, okay.
Yeah, sorry mate. It looks good. Canopy looks great.
Yeah,
anyway,
look. But you went from something that it was a cost to something that is now very functional. So.
And unfortunately, I had to sell him because the cost of hay at the time was going up $5 every week. You may not think that's a lot, but for, I think I was 18 or 19 at the time, that was a lot of money for me. I think the most I was buying in bale hay was about maybe 60 or 65, and that was just for like a square bale, let alone like the big round bales that we get from, well, now anyways. And I just couldn't, unfortunately, justify spending that on him, so I got a canopy.
And that's for one animal, not hundreds
exactly
of them.
Right,
or,
absolutely.
You know, it's hard to believe at the moment because it feels like it's rained for like 3 years straight. But, you know, some of my mates that own properties during a drought, like having to buy water.
Yeah, nuts, hey. Crazy.
And, you know, it's just the stress that must put someone under.
Yeah, something you just can't control, and it just has you by the throat every single day. You can't do anything about it. And like I said, the stress of your family and then providing for the rest of the country in some areas, it's, Do
you know, one of the other things I think as well is, like, for me and for many people, you go to work and you face stresses and troubles at work, and then you go home. But when you're a farmer,
well done.
It's
absolutely.
You're never going away from work, because work is, you were literally surrounded by your work, right?
Yeah.
There's no respite from it for a lot of people. I know a lot of my mates, they can't go away because who's going to look after the farm, right?
100%. I've got some cousins out near Cowra, and they have a big sheep station, and they don't go away because they've owned this property for 30 odd years. They know where every rock is. They can't go away because they're terrified of weeds taking over. They kill one and two more pop up, and they can't go on holidays because it'll overtake their little sheep station, which is nuts. Yeah,
so, it's just crazy. So you said you've done 14 events so far.
14, yeah.
14.
Well done.
I was like, don't fact check me here. Come on. My job here is to pay attention. I'm trying my best. So, has there been any particular camp or any particular thing that's happened at one of those events that's really stuck with you? In terms of, is there, there been moments that have really resonated and stuck in your memory?
I've got a lot of great ones. I've got one bad one, which I'll share, and then I'll tell you a good one. This was my, I believe, 7th one. This was at a beach, and Saving True Blues was established enough to the point where you come away and you know you're going to hear something about mental health, but it was still small enough where people thought it was just sort of camping. So what I always do, on the Friday, I just get everyone together, say, hey, thanks for coming. If you didn't know it or not, we're here for mental health. And it kind of sets a scene, which is great. Anyway, Saturday night, one of the guys had a skinful, and I got about 4 or 5 words into my little speech that I do for Isaac, and I said, g'day guys, my name's Lucinda. And then I had this man that boy we should say, was 19. He screamed. I think there was maybe about 30 people there at this one. He screamed at me. He said, shut up, no one gives a...
Yeah.
And I was just like, pardon?
Yeah.
That was crazy. And it shut me up real quick. I froze. And great for my partner was next to me, and he sort of sorted out, you could say that.
Yeah.
But at the time it was like, God, I'm just trying to do a nice thing here, and I copped that. There's going to be people like that, I suppose, everywhere in life, no matter what you do. But to have that so in my face, it was embarrassing because there was people that came to that camp that hadn't been to one before, and I didn't want them... I didn't want
that's
that.
how it was,
right,
yeah.
And that's something I can control. But happy to say nothing like that has happened before. It was just very much like a wow, like thank you. Anyway, besides that,
also champion, not the right place for you. Like if you've got that mentality, go away.
Yeah, it was crazy. I just remember being like, why do I even bother? Like, what's the
and that
point?
would make you question everything that you're doing, right?
Yeah, like I said, it was embarrassing, and like I had close friends there, I had family there, and it really put me out of place. I didn't do one for a couple months after that.
Did he apologise?
No. But
if you're out there and you're listening, mate,
Thank you, Tony.
Do better.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, that was crazy, that one. But I like to think it's made me stronger and definitely more passionate than what I've ever been to seek the right audience and find people not like that. But besides that one, God, there's been so many. So I do joint camps where girls and guys come. I do girls camps and I do like just blokes camps. They're all so different. Girls camps, personally being a female, they are extremely moving. So when I said earlier, when I finish my talk and I say, does anyone want to say anything? We take turns. We go around a circle and we all
it's
say
all very
our thing.
orderly.
Yeah, literally. At a everyone camp, it's like this. At a girls camp, it's literally like this. And just hearing the girls open up, there's this one girl who is one of my best friends now. She spoke for the first time at a girls camp about a year and a half ago, and she is a completely different person. And I don't believe it. She tells me every single camp, you've changed my life and you've helped me so much. Every single camp since that first one she spoke up at, she keeps speaking up and she speaks so loud and proud now. There's no little jump in her voice or she's done so well. So hearing her, the personal development just in her alone has made it so worth it for me. It takes away from old mates saying, shut up. Hearing like you've helped me and you've saved my life is crazy because I'm just a little girl. Like I just had this passion one day and I started, and this is sort of what's come from it. And then hearing guys speak up, I started for Isaac, I started for men, and seeing it work is just like goosebumps. Like I can't explain it in words how that makes me feel. It's one thing for me to get up there and speak, but for me to make a safe space myself, I'm a one man band, one gal band. For me to make that so welcoming and to have people get up willingly to share their story is it's the best feeling ever. And when guys get up and talk, it's like this is what it's meant to be like, and
must be very rewarding for you.
It's extremely. If it I don't think I could do it if it wasn't. There's a lot of pressure and I feel like the world's on my shoulders at times, but it's so rewarding, and the people and the friendships I made out of it. And like I said, for that girlfriend of mine, to hear her get up the first time about what she's gone through to now, a year and a half later, she's a completely different girl. And just hearing those words, like you've helped me so much, you've changed my life. It's crazy. It's extremely rewarding. So
you just said that you sometimes feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and I can fully understand and appreciate how that would feel. You're doing something pretty full on in terms of coordinating these events. So how do you deal with that for yourself? Like, what's your outlet? Is it the camps themselves? Like, do you get some power back from that as well?
Oh, 100%. It's what gets me through is hearing people's stories and, like I said, making that safe space. You can't sit down one day, write a business plan and go, I'm going to get 30 odd people together, they're all going to talk about what's going on. It doesn't happen. It happens because you create that and you make them feel comfortable.
Sure.
And the people that come to these events are true blue Aussies. It's extremely rewarding, and that's what gets me through, as well as my amazing family, my partner. I cry a lot as well, which isn't a bad thing, it helps. But like I said before, going to Headspace and being a part of Uniting, that youth organisation, they're my own little lifeline and they help me through it. The friendships that I've made through Saving True Blues, I started it for a lot of reasons, but also because I didn't have a lot of friends. So in a way, I helped myself with that. So I don't want to stop that. And like I said, if I can help anyone, then no matter what it sort of takes or costs, I'll do it. But I definitely have learned a lot, and I preach to the choir every single day to look after your mental health. And I wasn't until I sort of hit a bit of a rough spot a year and a half ago. And I was using the camps that I made as my own outlet. So it was very full circle.
Which is so cool, right? Like, you're building this support network for others, but then it ultimately is supporting you in turn.
I unknowingly 3 years ago started something that would help me, which is pretty awesome. So
and so in terms of the people that come to your camps, like what sort of What sort of people are we talking? Obviously, they're going to be interested in the outdoors and camping. If you don't like camping, then you're probably not going to come to one. But, what's the sort of age range? Is it like mostly young people? Is there a bit of a mix? And, where are they from?
We've had 4-month-olds to 80-year-olds come.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome. We had someone bring their pet rabbit once, which was really cool. That's a whole other story.
Wild.
Another day again.
Yeah.
But generally, the demographic, you could say, is anyone that has their reds, so that's 17, 18 to 60, I'd say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, anyone like that. If you look around at a camp, there's more sort of 20, 30-year-olds than there are either way. But all ages, all races, everyone's welcome. Put it this way, mental health doesn't discriminate, so neither would we. But it's a pretty cool thing to see, and I like saying this. So you see the young red pea platers, right? My old man, he's 55. Dad very much looks after a lot of the young boys, like with advice and just sort of being that fatherly figure at a camp. If they need, a hug, he's there. But the young boys treat Dad like he's still a young boy. So
he would love that.
He loves it, yeah. A bit too much, but it works both ways. Everyone looks after each other, no matter who you are, where you're from, your age. I've done all the camps in New South Wales so far, so everyone is from there. But we have had people come from interstate, Queensland, Vic. I actually had a girl fly from New Zealand, which was really, really cool. Yeah, it was nuts. It was so cool.
Was that someone that you already had like an existing relationship with?
She messaged me December last year. Yeah. And she said, I love what you're doing. If you ever do one that you could pick me up from the airport and I could come to one, I would love to. So I planned a girls' trip in February this year at a place called Yarrabin, and they have cabins. Yeah. So we didn't need to bring any camping gear, which was great. I messaged her and I said, I've pretty much planned this camp just for you. I'll pick you up from the airport, which I did.
In your honour.
Literally, I picked her up from the airport. We went straight to camp. And it was awesome, which was that was crazy for me. Yeah. There's been a lot of milestones, but that's really, really cool. But definitely next year I want to go. There's been heaps of interest in Vic, heaps of interest in Queensland. That's a no-brainer. I'll definitely reach out to there. But everyone for now is pretty much central to New South Wales.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, in terms of the funding of these events, are they self-funding at the moment, or you've got external help with that?
Yes and no. So the main source of income, you could say, and the way that I can keep doing these is from merch. Yep. But I'm also very lucky that I get to have some sponsors for the camps, which is awesome. Okay. And they'll throw in if that's prizes or if that's money, so we can raffle it off, and it all just goes back into the next camp. I work closely alongside a company called Answer Counselling. They specialise in equine therapy, so horses, which is really interesting. It's very effective for veterinarians. Yeah. Anyway, so they come out, and it adds another element to the camps where I can actually have professionals there if need be.
So sorry, I need to pause on this point. Are they therapy horses? Is that what you're talking about?
So I suppose you could call it that, yeah. So the Answer girls, they are trained in equine therapy. They went over to the States because it's massive over there. Yeah. And they have their own horses here. They're very quiet. They're very, very well-trained horses. It's amazing. The whole research behind it is nuts. They're not like guide dogs where they, not guide horses, but they're quiet enough that they're not going to go rogue and whatnot. And they horses and mice are the only animals that can match a human's heartbeat within 3 seconds of you. So if you're really nervous, you jump on a horse, and that's why they say always be calm. So when you're feeling emotional and you go into a paddock with one of these girls and a horse, they can pick it up like that. They get more out of a paddock than they do in a room. So it's crazy. So they've come along, and they've been really awesome to backpack off. Yeah. But yeah, it self-funds itself, which is great. But hopefully in the future I can start looking into getting some grants and things like that to take it up a notch. But
yeah. For sure. I hate to say it, but massive missed opportunity to plug the website for the merch. So, over to you.
It is just www.savingtrueblues.com.au. That's obviously the website. Instagram is just Saving True Blues, same as Facebook and TikTok. Thank you, Tony.
That's all right. So yeah, if you want to support the great work that Lucinda's doing, then go buy some merch.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't buy my silly merch. Buy this merch. It's heaps better. So, can we talk about therapy horses a bit more? Because I'm really intrigued by that. I didn't know that was a thing.
It's amazing.
Because like, I'm a dog person, right? And I know that when I'm feeling shitty, like I will force my love onto my dog, and it will instantly make me feel better. Like just like snuggling with a dog, patting a dog. When I think about it, I've never been a horse person, but I've interacted with horses over the years, and there's something very calming about patting a horse.
Yep.
You said that they went and studied in America. So is that something that's like common here, or?
It is. It's massive in America. So like I said, it's very well used and very successful for their vets over there.
As in people working in the animal industry?
As in like military.
Oh,
like
veterans.
Yes.
Sorry. I was getting veterans and veterinarians confused.
Yes. So the girls saw a bit of a market here that hadn't quite been opened up yet. So they went overseas, they come back, did their training, came back and started their own thing. When I first heard about it, I was like, oh, I worked on a horse side for a year and a half. I don't know. It's something you sort of believe or you don't.
It would have to be the right horses.
Right.
Because horses can be like...
Yeah. Like race horses, no.
Nasty.
You're not going to get anything out of them.
Yeah.
No. And like I said, when I worked on that horse side for a year and a half, I was like, oh, I had some pretty funky moments with some being kicked and bit and whatnot. I don't think they're,
Yeah, you're like feeling a bit sad and a bit down, and then you get booted by a horse. It's probably not going to help.
Exactly right. But I actually attended one of their counselling sessions with a young girl, and what they got out of her was amazing. I won't say her example, but an example that they use at camps when they sort of explain who they are. So there was a young boy who walked into a paddock with one of the girls, and there was 2 horses in the field, right? Again, this is something you believe or you don't.
Yep.
They shut the gate behind him, and within like moments, these horses were like kicking and biting each other and like really like rearing up at each other, like they were not happy. So the therapist said to the young boy, "What are the horses doing, buddy?" And he said, they're just playing. That's what Dad does to me. Oh, they're just kicking. They're just playing. So he unknowingly told her that he'd be getting abused, which in a room they wouldn't have got that out of him.
Absolutely not. No.
It's just amazing that, like I said, within 3 seconds, these horses can sense what's going on. Again, it's something you believe or you don't.
No. Man, there's so much to it, and like you can see the bond that people that are into horses have with those animals. Like it's something quite special.
Definitely. So later that day, he was removed and put in proper care. So he's doing much better now. But like I said, I went and attended one of their sessions because I was sort of like, I get it, but it's something you need to experience, I think, to fully wrap your head around. And I did, and it was amazing. What they get out of a paddock is a lot more in one session than what they would in 10. So it's just amazing. Like, I wouldn't even think of that. So just another way of therapy that can help people. And if I can help people, if I can educate them that it's another route to go down, absolutely. So having the answer girls there, they're awesome.
Yeah, that's so good. So, and look, I think alternative therapy, if you want to call it that, or alternative perspectives on dealing with mental health, I think is really important. I mentioned it on a recent episode with Cowboy Tuned and saying that, I've had experiences where going to I always get this wrong, psychiatrist, and, talking about a problem, and they're like, oh, cool, just go on antidepressants. And I'm like, can we talk about some other options instead of just like going straight for synthetic pharmaceuticals? So I think, something you and I have talked about when we've chatted as well is, like, you cannot underestimate how powerful just being outside is.
Oh, 100%.
Like, even just sitting here is like, it's good for the soul, right? Sunlight, fresh air, like there's something.
No phones at the camps. I get a lot of DMs before saying like, oh, is there this, is there this? The most common is there phone service? Yeah. I said, no, why would you want it? And it does wonders.
You should reply with, yeah, we've got Starlink and you can't have the password.
I will next time. Tony said.
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting one, eh? Because like, this is a big part of why I do this show.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned it a few times, but you know, like, in this day and age, we're so focused on our phones, and I'm like the first one to admit I'm like borderline addicted to my phone and social media and work and everything else, because it's like you're always on, right? But doing this is a really good way of sitting down for an hour and talking to someone and not being distracted.
Well, like you said, I think with Cowboy, when I watched that podcast, you said, when was the last time you sat down for an hour and like face to face without hearing your phone go off and just like, you know, checking it or something?
Yeah.
And like you said, being outdoors and talk about the bush telly, like it's captivating, and it definitely does wonders for your mind as well as, you know, your physical health, getting outdoors and breathing the fresh air and whatnot, and just sitting down and talking with people. And the camps are perfect for that. There's not much else to do. So
do you think that the campfire helps to like make people feel more comfortable because they don't have to make eye contact?
100%.
Because they can look into the fire and speak from the heart.
Yeah. One time we got the magic dust, like the rainbow powders. We put them in there for something to look at. They were great.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it definitely almost distracts, and in a way doesn't make it as scary to, if someone's in front of you talking about it or next to you and gets up and talks, you don't have to be like this. You can just sort of focus and hear what they're saying. The campfire does wonders for people.
Yeah, no one's going to get up and be like, stop looking at the fire.
Yeah, literally.
Because everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm sure there's some science behind it, but that the campfire chat, like that's the whole point of this kind of conversation, right? Is like just being able to just talk, see where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of structure to the camps in terms of, like you said, you get up and, you know, you say your piece and you give background, but then is it really just like throwing it open to the group and seeing where they take it, or is there any kind of structure in terms of the way the conversation goes?
Bit of both, Tony. So I obviously get up and say my 5 cents, and if anyone wants to talk, then they're welcome to. The woman that I spoke about earlier, who is one of my girlfriends that spoke at the first one and has just completely changed, she, God love her, she always backs me up. So there's sort of someone in line to talk next to me or talk next. I have another one of my mates who has made it his life goal, bless him, to also every camp get up and share his story because it makes him feel better. So I say my bit, she does hers, he does his, and it's one thing for me to talk about it. I've done it 14 times. I know what I'm saying.
It gets easier, yeah.
But for a new person coming, to hear for this girl and this man to get up after me, like it's so normal, and there's no pressure, and it's like, I'll get up and talk. It just takes away that stress and that taboo of, I want to say something, but I shouldn't. Yeah. It takes one person after me to get up, and then it's just, like I said, we just take turns.
It's like a snowball.
Nothing's forced. Towards the end of it, when it's sort of wrapping up, I'll just say if anyone wants to say anything, we'll sort of start to wrap it up. If no one does, I say, like, obviously thank everyone. But I say, come and find me later on if you want to have a chat, or like person next to you has just, you know, heard the same thing you have and has that open mind like you. Like, it's not going to hurt if you talk to them or the person opposite you or me. So after that campfire, it doesn't stop there. No one, I like to think anyway, shuts off and goes back to reality. It carries on through the whole rest of the night into Sunday as well, which I love. So
and like making people feel comfortable to share their story or what they're feeling is so much of the challenge, right?
Definitely.
It's just like breaking that ice, and then you know, I know in my experience where, you know, I've talked to people who've had challenges, you know, friends and family, and it's like getting them to start talking is the hardest part, and then invariably once you get them to start talking, they won't shut up, which is great, right? But it's like making, I mean, it sounds very cliche, but like it's like making that space safe for them to talk in the
100%.
first place, and making people feel like they're not going to be judged.
Dad's brother, my uncle, he was a cop.
Oh yeah.
And
not in the highway patrol, sure.
No,
thank God for that.
definitely
We'd
not.
have to end this interview
I know,
right now.
Literally. Definitely not. he finished his time up early. He has a bit of PTSD, to say the least of it. Anyway, he comes to camps and he speaks. It's not easy for him. But he's about late 50s. And for a man of that age to get up and chat about what's going on, it's like a weight lifted off the shoulder for every other bloke there. Because if an older guy can so bravely get up and chat, it's so normal then. And after he spoke, this one camp, there was about 5 boys who just beelined towards him and gave him a hug and a handshake, and that was pretty cool. But it definitely takes a few people after me to get it going. Like I said, nothing's forced.
It's got to be so moving seeing that stuff happen.
Crazy, yeah. It's something you have to experience to sort of get it. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. The power in everyone just coming with an open mind, no judgment. Say what you feel, say what you mean, what you've been through, and it's just like, I'm here for you, mate. Like, that's all it is. So. Yeah,
and like, you mentioned at the start of our conversation about, you had a tough time at school and you were bullied, and like, I can 100% relate to that. Like, I copped it at school. And there's 2 paths you can go down when that happens, right? You can either become a bigger bully, which unfortunately is what a lot of the time happens, or you can get away from it and figure out, different pathways. And I think school in particular is so hard on kids because like you're forced to go there and you don't choose who you go to school with. Like it's just the lottery, right?
Yeah.
So for you to take that and then put yourself in a position where you're getting up and speaking in front of strangers, it's
I know.
It's pretty wild.
If I had a crystal ball and I saw as a like year 7, year 8, year 9 kid when I was sort of in the thick of it as a 23-year-old, what came of it, I would never would have believed it. But I think in a way, it definitely made me as passionate as I am. And it's personal. I speak from the heart, and I feel like it comes across like that. It's not scripted, or I'm not just genuine. Saying it because it sounds good. Like it happened to me, and I know it happens to so many people. And you'd be surprised of how often people come up to me at a camp, they're like, same, I was also bullied. And yeah, we like trauma dump with each other, which is, it's good. Good for the soul. But yeah, high school can be brutal. Glad I got out of there when I did, that's for sure. But yeah, just sort of tried to make something out of nothing, I suppose. And like I said, what I went through has definitely made me who I am, and more passionate. And yeah, I never want to stop. If I can help anyone, then I can. Sharing my story like this, I'll never stop doing it because it's worked before. So hopefully it will.
And that is so important. And I've had a few conversations about mental health on the show recently, and it wasn't like I had like a plan to do that, but just through the course of the conversations, it's come up a few times, and it's something I'm really passionate about. As I mentioned in the episode I did with Cowboy, I lost a few mates at that same age, like 18, 19, and I've had a number of people reach out to me through DMs or even in comments and say it's so good to hear people talking about mental health in this kind of environment. And I think, like you mentioned, the farming community is like hard men and hard women, and like that stigma, and don't talk about your feelings, harden up sort of thing. It's the same in the 4-wheel drive community. It's the same in the hunting community. And I'm not, I'm generalizing here. I'm not saying everyone's like this, but there's a bit of that kind of like, just harden up or have a beer or whatever, and I think making it acceptable to go, hey, actually, you know what? I'm not feeling okay, because it happens to everybody,
it's
right?
so normal. It's more normal than not.
Yeah.
But it's so normal to think it's
like
not.
If you have no trauma and no sadness in your life, like, are you alive?
Yeah, you robot.
Yeah. I think that's like being a psychopath if you don't feel anything.
Yeah,
but
honestly.
Yeah, in all seriousness, like I think it's got to be normalised, right? And particularly for young guys and girls, and I can say that because I'm old now, but like being a late teenager, it's hard. There's like, you've got hormones going crazy in your body, and you've got all this pressure on you to decide what you're going to do with your life. And like, here's a little tip from an old bloke: you don't have to decide what you're going to do when you're 18. You can do whatever you want on any given day of your life. And if you do something and you don't like it, do something different. There you go. That was free advice from me.
Wise advice.
No,
just funny.
Like I think it's so difficult, and not knowing like how to deal with all of that, and your brain's still connecting. I think like I remember being told this. I think a female brain like fully connects the pathways in your brain at like 23, and a guy's more like 27 or something.
Late.
Like
Yeah.
we're slow learners.
Yeah.
So the pressure that we put on teenagers as a society is wild.
Yeah.
It's like, you're 18, you're an adult now.
Yes.
It's like, what are you talking about? Like, when you're 18, you think you know it all. Like, you do not. But you've got all these pressures, and like, I guess in some ways it's unsurprising that mental health issues are so prevalent in that age group, right?
Yeah, so true. Like I said a bit earlier, when I first found out he passed, I was so confused, I was angry, and I was upset because it wasn't spoke about.
Yeah.
My school was a private Christian school, and they didn't do enough. They did not do enough talking about bullying, talking about mental health. They did the bare minimum, probably so they passed something that they legally had to. Yeah, literally. They didn't do anything. I think that's why it was so weird for me to hear about it, especially someone that I, in a way, grew up with. And I saw him more times than I saw my family. I went to school with him 5 days a week. I was so confused and angry. Like you said, you're a teenager, there's so much going on. And what broke my heart when I found out more than anything was that, like, school was his whole life and we hated that. There was so much going on. Like I said, it was COVID. I was so confused. I was angry. Luckily, I could make something great out of a bad situation. But schools don't do enough. My school, anyway, didn't. And
no, I think you can
yeah.
be pretty confident that that's like across the board.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, anything that we can get into our young kids, like I said, there's primary school kids that come away to these camps. I'll never forget, I held one. This was at the big one with 200 odd people there. And I finished my bit. And before my girlfriend, who I had lined up, before even she got into it, a dad stood up. And this is probably going to make me cry. He stood up and he had his maybe 8 or 9-year-old daughter. And he said, like, hop up. And he just held her and he said, my daughter's getting bullied horribly at school, and everyone's face just dropped, and you could hear like it was horrible to witness, but it's so true.
Yeah.
So even to have like younger kids come away to these camps is a way, I suppose, changing, hopefully very small, like a kid at a time, their sort of outlook on mental health. I wish I knew what I knew now when I was younger. It starts at school, even, obviously at home.
Absolutely,
but it's horrible. Kids are horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. And like, there are horrible people out there that, and I always sort of, at the time you don't think this, when someone's being an absolute arsehole to you and bullying you for no reason, you're like, what is wrong with you? But invariably it's because they're copying it, or they've got problems at home, or
you
they've
never
been
know. That's a thing.
abused, or whatever it may be. Or, sometimes people are just mean.
Yeah.
But for a young girl to be experiencing that, and like as a father of a very young daughter, I won't explain exactly how that makes me feel, but I can only imagine, like, as a parent, having your kid go through that, and you'd feel so helpless.
Yeah,
but
it was horrible.
Showing that child that, like, hey, there's really nice people here. Like, yes, you're in your little microcosm that you live in, you're dealing with some nasty people, but look at all these lovely people, and these people are all talking, and like, they're welcoming, and I don't think you can underestimate the power that you're giving that little girl to show her that, like, hey, there's actually really good stuff going on.
A few of the girls and I got her address. Well, I got her address from her father. We send her little postcards, and we're little pen pals now.
I thought you were going to say you got the address of the bully.
Imagine. That's next.
All right, we're not condoning anything like that, please. No, I might have to edit that out.
But just like you said, for her to sort of see that there's good in amongst all the bad, hopefully has made all the difference. We do keep in contact with her, and they've been back to camps. She's like my little sister. I'm 5 foot on a good day with my Ugg boots on, and she's already towering above me. But she's like a little sister to me. God love her. So yeah.
No, that's so good. So look, I really want to thank you for sitting down and chatting to me. Obviously we met, I think, at the start of the year.
Yeah, Brizzy.
Yeah, in Brizzy. And, I remember Bree telling me what you were doing, and I thought it was fantastic. And, anything I can do to help, I absolutely will. I'm looking forward to getting involved in some of your events. I've got one booked in later this year that that we're going to do together, so that's really cool. But for anyone out there listening or watching on YouTube, I really do encourage you to get behind Saving True Blues. Like what Lucinda's doing here is phenomenal. No government backing, very limited financial support from businesses. Just a young girl with a really good mission that she's doing great things for the community. So I encourage you all to support her.
Thanks, Tony. Can't thank you enough for even giving me the time of day to speak about this. And yeah, you've been amazing. Besides this interview, everything you've done, my mates and I talk in our group, and yeah, you're definitely a great mentor for all of us young'uns out there in the forward drive community. Yeah, can't thank you enough.
Way to make me feel old, Lucinda.
No, sorry.
There is one thing I do have to pick you up on though. Just before we started filming, you showed me a photo of a massive bass that you pulled out of this river, and like now I'm finding it really hard to not be thinking about fishing. But we got there.
Good excuse to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Part two.
All right, mate. Well, I'll let you go, but thanks again.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate you.
And we will see all of you next time on the outer side, or maybe at a Saving True Blues camp.
We'll see you there.
See ya.